We're back. We're back on track, and I'm listening to Cafe Del Mar. I'm listening to, if you're interested, Cafe Del Mar, the Chill Out Mix, number 12 for 2017. So, you know, it's there in the background. But I'm just going to turn it down so it doesn't interfere with our lesson. Okay. So welcome back. We are going to start working now, and just to start the process on specific outcome 242-822, which is about achieving objectives. So how do you make things happen? So that's what we're going to do. Okay. What are your tools that you have? What's the material that you have? You have the POE. That is the document that we will need to submit. But it's not only this document. There are exercises in the Learner Guide that also need to get into here. But we'll work on that together. Okay. So we're going to work with this one, and we're going to work with the Learner Guide. The Learner Guide that I have looks slightly different from yours, but the content is the same. So we need both of those. And to work effectively, I believe you need pens. Okay? I love pens. I especially like big, fat, black ones so that I can write nice and clearly for you. And then I always just use an empty tin and I put all my pens together because then I've got them on my table. You might also like to work with a post-it note, because post-it notes help to mark where you're busy. You know, when we're very busy, it can look overwhelming. Work can look overwhelming. So I buy a few post-it notes. I tear off only a few because I want to save. And I'm just going to use my scissors and cut them into little strips that I will then use to mark the pages that I'm going to be focusing on now. So, for example, if we're going to work on specific outcome 1, there we go, specific outcome 1, we're going back to the work at the very beginning. So what I'm going to ask as well is that everybody, whether you've handed in or not, everybody please go back now. I'm going to take you through the work, go back, revise, rewrite. If you feel that what I wrote was completely wrong, you put a line through it, you take a clean page, you write the question number and the question very clearly there, and there you go. You redo. You know, it's very important that we learn to edit our own work and look at it again with a fresh point of view. Okay, good. So we're going to look at specific outcome 1. And then the questions that we are going to look at, we have the formative questions. And that has to do with forming. It means that they are still checking, do you have the foundation? We are forming the form. And therefore, when we answer those questions, what they want from us is very simple: knowledge. They only want to see, do we understand? What is an objective? Can I tell people in my own word? And that's what they'll be asking for in the formative. In the formative, they just want to see, what do you know? Okay. When it comes to the summative, now they're looking at you to apply that which you have knowledge of. And where are you going to apply it? You're going to look at your workplace and you're going to say, oh, in my workplace, this is what it means. So that is the two parts of the POE, a formative and a summative. The formative is knowledge, the summative is application. So I know how to bake a cake, but in my summative, I actually bake the cake. That's more or less what it means. Okay, so I'm just going to put these down in case I need to write something for you again. Now we're going to go to specific outcome 1, and I'm going to go into my learner guide. I'm going to find the beginning of the information, and there is a page called Introduction. Introduction, okay? Hello. Introduction. And in my manual, it's on page 10. It might be somewhere else in yours. Just look around about page 10, because this was a print before yours was done. So you're going to read through that introduction. And from what I've heard, people are saying to me, there's not a lot of information. Wow, really? There's not a lot of information in the learner guide, but there's a lot of information here. There's a lot of information from my colleagues. Do you remember that you had to have a workplace supervisor? Go and ask them what they think about the question. And then also, go back to Mrs. Google. She's fantastic. She can give you so much information. If you could just go to Google and type in the very first topic. The very first topic is objectives. And it says objectives are those specific steps that enable you to accomplish a goal. Steps to accomplish a goal. And so I might want to just say, okay, let me see what I can learn about objectives from Mrs. Google. And I'm going to open up my search bar and I'm going to type in objectives in the workplace and see what she brings me. I can guarantee you there's going to be pages and pages of information. So you might think that it's a bit unfair that not all the information is in the learner guide. Guess what? That's life. The information is never only in one place, and the education of the future is not about knowing everything, but about knowing where to find information when you need it. So, welcome to the new world. And so I can open up my browser and I can find articles which give me the definition. I can find another article which tells me what does Wikipedia say. Examples of goals and objectives in the workplace. Wow, that's interesting. And guess what? The more you are going to read through that type of article, the more you are going to find you are enhancing the material and your answers. The minimum is here in your guide, but there is so much more. And that's what you want. You want to enrich yourself through this process. And one source of information is never reliable. We know that. We can just look at what's happening in our politics and all the news now around Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela to know that there was one source of information that controlled the news, that gave us one picture of her. But guess what? There was a whole load of other things that nobody knew about. So this is about doing research. We need to do research. You can't just take one point of view. Okay, so good. We're going to go to the manual. I found that page, and I have now marked that I'm going to start working there, all right? And I'm going to go through the questions that I was asked in my, we sent you a little note, a little love letter in week 1, telling you which questions you needed to focus on. Specific outcome 1, identify and develop objectives. And it said to you, look at, you have to answer in your learner guide, exercise 1. So I've got to find exercise 1 in my learner guide. And exercise 1 said, there it is. Not that you can see it very clearly, but in any case, you can look at it. And exercise 1 said that through media, newspaper, workplace, your personal lives, etc., you must have heard about identifying and developing objectives. Then it said, what is the importance of identifying objectives and using the different strategies and approaches to develop an objective? So now I'm going to read, and then I'm going to respond to that question. Basically, they're asking you, where are you at? Is there anything that you understand on this topic? Having done a little bit of research and having thought about it for yourself, why is it important to identify objectives? So why would it be important? Will we go anywhere? If I don't wake up in the morning with the objective of getting up, am I ever going to get up? If I don't wake up with the objective of getting ready to go to work, will I ever get ready to go to work? So they're asking you to translate it and talk to us about your understanding of objectives. Okay. And then they're saying, why would you use different strategies and approaches to develop an objective? So if I come up with the objective myself, all by myself, I'm the head of the family, and I come up with the objective all by myself, and I decide that everybody must be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do you think there's going to be resistance to my objective? Would it not be better if I had involved my whole family in, okay, people, we all need to get out of here in time, and there's only one bathroom, and we all need to get through the bathroom, and then we need to get to the breakfast table, and we need to make our lunch for work. So you've got different approaches to developing objectives. So one can be very top-down, and one can be more democratic, and one can be involving other people. So they're asking you using different strategies and approaches to develop objectives. So you could talk about it as in your personal life, or you could talk about it as in your work life. For this question, which is on page 11, exercise 1 of the Learner Guide. Okay. It also said there that we need to look at, when we answer that question, we need to look at assessment criteria 1 to 3. Assessment criteria 1 said a statement of general intent is written specifying the aim of the objective according to identified needs. So my need is to get everybody out of the door early in the morning and everybody's ready. And I need to work around that. Then assessment criteria 2 said measurable parameters are specified to meet the need. So a parameter gives an edge, a shape to something. It tells you it starts here and it ends there. And so again, if I don't understand the word parameter, I can go to the dictionary. I can look at Mrs. Google and see what does parameters say and examples of parameters. And your manual does give you more examples of parameters. The Learner Guide does give you that. And then assessment criteria 3, it says involvement of team members is encouraged to refine the objective and the measurable parameters. So that's where we come back now. We're coming back now to, was it a good idea for me to just tell my family that everybody must be up at 5 and they must be finished in the bathroom by 10 past 5? Would it not have been better for me to involve the team and to say, okay guys, how are we all going to achieve the objective of getting out of the door and being full on and ready for each of our days and going our separate ways? So that's basically what that question wants. Now, I just want to remind you, we're talking now about exercise 1 in your Learner Guide. Please don't write only 3 words. Write enough to make sure that whoever assesses has got the meat to be able to mark you as competent. Don't just throw a chicken bone. Throw the whole drumstick. Add the meat to the story. So that's what we're looking for. This video is 15 minutes long, so I'm going to pause it here, and then we'll upload and we'll go to the next question. What we've done now is we have looked at the Learner Guide, Exercise 1 in the Learner Guide, and how to answer that question. Please go back and check. Please make sure that you review and revisit and revise your own work. And you can always cross it out, add a page, make sure you've put your name, you've written out the question, and answer the question on a lined page if you feel that what you've written didn't really hit the mark. So thank you very much for now, and halala again. I don't know what happened to my beautiful Cafe Del Mar, but no doubt she'll surface again, and I'll catch you on the next one where we're going to move on to the next questions. Okay, back in a few.